Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. His Excellency Sheikh Siam of Thailand, the founding director of the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. I am Wichaya Pitsuwan. I am deeply honored to be your MC for the opening ceremony. Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 is organized by the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand, the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, and the Central Islamic Council of Thailand. Thailand Halal Assembly is the country's biggest showcase of halal-related affairs, and in the past 6 years, this annual event has been an important platform to showcase halal products, services, exhibitions, and conferences. This year, we are bringing the assembly digitally to you under the focus on halal sphere and ecologic economic equity concept of halal. The assembly will consist of conferences on halal science, industry and business, as well as International Halal Science and Technology Conference. I'd like to begin the opening ceremony with the recitation of verses from the Holy Quran, which will be done and recited by Mr. Muaz Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تالله لقد أرسلنا إلى أمم من قبلك فزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فهو وليهم اليوم ولهم عذاب أليم وما أنزلنا عليك الكتاب إلا لتبين لهم الذي اختلفوا فيه وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون والله أنزل من السماء ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يسمعون وإن لكم في الأنعام لعبرة نسقيكم مما في بطونه من بين فرث ودم لبنا خالصا سائغا للشاربين ومن ثمرات النخيل والأعناب تتخذون منه سكرا ورزقا حسنا تتخذون منه سكرا ورزقا حسنا إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يعقلون وأوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا ومن الشجر ومما يعرشون ثم كلي من كل الثمرات فاسلكي سبل ربك ذللا يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه فيه شفاء للناس إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you very much to Kun Muaz Mustafa for the beautiful recitation of verses from the Holy Quran. Up next, I'd like to invite the founding director of the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, who is also the chairman of the organizing committee of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020, to deliver welcome address. Here is Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dalan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala alafil abiyah awal mussalin. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. His Excellency Mr. Aziz Pitakumpon, Juฬาราชมนตรี or Sheikh al-Islam of Thailand. His Excellency Mr. Ihsan Owud, Secretary General of Standard and Methodology Institute for Islamic Countries. Police Major General Surin Palare, Secretary General of Central Islamic Council of Thailand. Representative of Ministry, Universities, Islamic Committee of Provinces, Organizations, Companies, Honorable Speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Every year since 2014, the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, in cooperation with the Office of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand and the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand, have successfully organized the Thailand Halal Assembly during the month of December. Under this event, there are activities of academic conferences, expositions, and exhibitions. The academic conferences comprise of 3 events, all of which has to be held simultaneously and to be completed within 3 days. This year, Thailand Halal Assembly was the 7th time, while the Halal Science and Industry Business Conference, which is an academic conference under Thailand Halal Assembly, was held for the 13th time. This year, the pandemic of COVID-19 making everything change. We take opportunity to separate all activities of Thailand Halal Assembly even from each other due to they are all virtual, not actual. The activities under the first part of Thailand Halal Assembly will be HASIP or Halal Science, Industry and Business, and ISATEC or International Halal Science and Technology Conference. While the expo will be organized separately in March 2021. And the international of the Halal conference of the AB will be held in February 2021, of which the director of the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand, Professor Dr. Pakon Priyakon, shall provide the report. The online event of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 was preliminary tested during last November. The outcome was in high appreciation than that previously performed in the past. Each year, every academic conference could attract about 300 to 400 participants. But in our last test, there were more than 400 accounts registered for online seminar, and more than 15,000 additional accounts also participated throughout the launch, indicating the positive effect of our online event. The expo in March is expected to work in the same way. At the opening ceremony today, Ms. Mananya Thaiset, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, as a government representative, intend to attend as co-chairperson. But there was a big election in her province. So she expressed her sincere apology for missing from our event. It is then a pity not to have her here today. Now it is time for the opening ceremony. We would like to invite the two chairmen of ceremony, CIMIC Secretary General and SICOT Secretary General, to be on the stage. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Pakon Priyakon to report the activity of the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand in Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the founding director of the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dalan. Next, I'd like to invite another member of the organizing committee, the Associate Professor Dr. Pakon Priyakon, who is the director of the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Sheikhul Islam of Thailand, His Excellency Ihsan Owud, Secretary General of the Standards and Methodology Institute for Islamic Countries, Police Major General Surin Palare, Secretary General of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dalan, Chairman of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 Organizing Committee, all distinguished participants, speakers, colleagues, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Exceptionally, this year has been one of the most challenges in our life. We all are equal in such a way that cannot run away from one of the greatest pandemic situations called coronavirus or COVID-19. The impact of this created unexpected outcome to every society. In my view, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that the way we may fear less. Life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. Ultimately, the greatest lesson that COVID-19 can teach humanity is that we are all in this together. Brothers and sisters, I would like to take this opportunity to let you all know we are going to organize another significant event as a part of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Interestingly, during the third weeks of May 2021, we are going to organize the 7th International Halal Standards and Certifications Conventions, the 7th HSACC. The exact time is on Tuesday 18 to Wednesday 19 of May 2021. May I repeat it once again? We are going to organize this gathering as the convention, not the conference. Let me explain about the term convention. Convention is a way in which something is usually done, especially within a particular area of activities. I am so proud that over the past conventions, since the first time in 2014 up to the sixth convention last year, we have gained a lot of initiatives in developing new Halal standards covering several types of new products and services. At the same time, Halal certification bodies over the Gulf have been upgrading their competences to create new standardization with precise and accurate general guidelines to serve both public and private enterprises in producing new type of products and services. Overall, the positive and ultimate outcomes for Thailand have been that we can set up new standards and general requirements. Specifically, we can issue the new standards, namely Halal Cosmetic Standard, Halal Tourism Services Standard. Together with that, now we are in the state of preparation for drafting new standards on Halal logistics and supply chain management and Halal quality management system. In the 7th International Halal Standards and Certification Convention, the organizing committee would like to invite speakers and delegations from different countries to give more information to others about two vital circumstances. First, why Halal standards gain much more important during COVID-19 and what kinds of lessons we can learn together. Second, when thinking about the next normal to making it work, what to stop, start, and accelerate. We may ask another major questions to ensure that Halal standards bodies and Halal certification bodies can work together in the new Halal sphere. What next are our main agendas and implementation blueprints we should consider? Of course, we are going to have this type of gathering to the so-called virtual convention. Brothers and sisters, colleagues and friends, finally, I would like to emphasize that at the end by referring to Sir Richard Branson, who is an English business magnate, investor, author, and former philanthropist. His personal view on confronting with the pandemic effectively is that we must work together as one of the strong team. May I then quote his famous ideas on this sphere. He insists that to successfully work with other people, you have to trust each other. A big part of this is trusting people to get their work done wherever they are without supervision. With this, I end my remarks, and we will be sending our invitation to you all in the coming January. See you again in May 2021, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Inshallah, see you again in May 2021, but you're now at the opening ceremony of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Thank you very much to the Director of the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand, Associate Professor Pragon Priyakon. Up next, we are honored to have the Secretary General of the Standard and Metrology Institute for the Islamic countries, His Excellency Ihsan Obud. He will be the chairman of the opening ceremony, and he's here with us to give us, honored enough to give us the honor to deliver the opening address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Excellency Mr. Aziz Pitakumpul, Sheikhul Islam of Kingdom of Thailand. His Excellency Mrs. Mananya Thaiset, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Thailand. Honorable Mr. Alongkorn Pulabutr, the advisor to the Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Thailand. Honorable Police Major General Surin Palare, Secretary General of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, SICOT. Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan, Founding Director of the Halal Science Center, Chairman of the Organizing Committee of the Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's indeed a great pleasure for me on behalf of the Standards and Metro Institute for Islamic Countries, SMIC and OIC, to congratulate the Science Center Chulalongkorn University for organizing this virtual conference today despite COVID-19 pandemic all over the world. It is very great success for the Halal Science Center that being able to inspire Muslims and Islamic institutions in the world to pay attention to what is defined in the Holy Quran as a very important word in Ayat Surah Baqarah 168. Ya ayyuhan nas, kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba, wa la tattabi'u khutubat ash-shaytan, innahu lakum aduwwun mubin, which is halal. There might have many sects in Islam, but halal is the one and only. The Halal Science Center by Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dahlan has been working very hard to make people understand the concept and importance of halal and how to live halal way, as halal is not what we could see and judge by eyes. Dr. Vinay is the first in the world who has initiated to introduce science into halal. And that was when the word halal science has been emerging, leading to an establishment of the Halal Science Center in later times. The first time I experienced with Halal Science Center was in 2016, when I was invited by the Halal Science Center to be a speaker for CIMIC workshop, and took me a big surprise when I saw halal laboratory equipped with modern scientific equipment for halal scientific analysis. It is beyond my comprehension, as Thailand is not a Muslim country, but having been ready to work on halal for humanity, it did amaze me. Dear participants, with coronavirus pandemic has been emerged since beginning of this year and does not seem to get over very soon. We have to live with it for another 1 or 2 years until the vaccine is ready and efficient for all. This virtual conference is thus considered a very good beginning of the new normal that we need to get used to lead new normal life. Although we could avoid many activities we used to during the COVID-19, but food seemed to be an important thing, could not be avoided. Food seemed to be the only things not affected by COVID-19, including halal food, and it is the reason why trust is important in this critical situation, as people do not go out anymore, but stay inside and do delivery. How could we know the food we ordered in delivery is halal? Is there any sign to assure consumers that it is halal? It seems that there are many things we have to look into the terms of food safety, healthy and complied with Islamic provision during this pandemic to gain trust from consumers. These are our homework for all in halal-related industry. Be halal professionals, Islamic scholars, halal auditors, including halal scientific professionals. It is a homework for all of us here, and I certainly hope this virtual conference today will be fruitful and could answer some question we are facing now. I would like to emphasize that the cooperation between the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, SciCode, and Halal Standards Institute of Thailand and CIMIC would be hand in hand for very long. I pray this virtual conference is to be very successful and bring light to all of us. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much to Mr. Ogut for your kind support. The Standard Metrology Institute for the Islamic country has been giving us a lot of support. So thank you very much as the co-chairman of the opening ceremony. Up next, I'd like to invite another co-chairman of the opening ceremony of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Here is the Secretary General of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, Police Major General Surin Palale, to deliver an opening keynote, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. เรียนท่านจุฬารัฐมนตรีนายอาสิทธิ์พิทักษ์คุมพลท่านอลงกรณ์พลบุตรที่ปรึกษารัฐมนตรีว่าการกระทรวงเกษตรและสหกรณ์ท่านดร.วินัยดาลันผู้อำนวยการศูนย์วิทยาศาสตร์ฮาลาลจุฬาลงกรณ์มหาวิทยาลัยประธานจัดงานตลอดจนแขกผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านกับผมรู้สึกเป็นเกียรติที่ได้มีโอกาสมาเป็นประธานในพิธีเปิดงาน Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 ในวันนี้กับผมมีความยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งในความสำเร็จของการจัดงาน Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 ที่ได้แสดงให้เห็นถึงบทบาทเชิงประจักษ์ในการผลักดันประเทศไทยขึ้นเป็นผู้นำด้านกิจการฮาลาลอันมีจุดมุ่งหมายชัดเจนในการสร้างพัฒนาอุตสาหกรรมเกษตรกรรมและพาณิชย์ของไทยให้เข้มแข็งเพิ่มการส่งออกและพัฒนาศักยภาพตลาดฮาลาลของไทยอย่างต่อเนื่องเป็นที่ทราบกันดีว่าศักยภาพกิจการฮาลาลของประเทศไทยมีคุณลักษณะที่โดดเด่นในระบบและขบวนการดำเนินงานภายใต้ความร่วมมือกันระหว่างองค์กรศาสนาอิสลามซึ่งเป็นหน่วยงานรับรองมาตรฐานฮาลาลของประเทศไทยและทุกภาคส่วนที่เกี่ยวข้องสร้างความเข้มแข็งให้อุตสาหกรรมฮาลาลของประเทศไทยและเป็นเอกลักษณ์เฉพาะของงานฮาลาลในประเทศไทยส่งผลให้ผลิตภัณฑ์ฮาลาลของไทยเป็นที่น่าเชื่อถือในระดับนานาชาติเป็นที่ยอมรับกันว่าสถานการณ์ของโลกเวลานี้ได้เกิดการแพร่ระบาดของเชื้อไวรัสโควิด -19 ส่งผลกระทบไปทั่วโลกต้องมีการปรับเปลี่ยนวิถีชีวิตปกติให้เป็นวิถีชีวิตปกติใหม่คือ New Normal รูปแบบของการจัดงานในวันนี้จึงเป็นที่น่าชื่นชมถึงความพยายามในการสร้างมิติใหม่ของการจัดงานประชุมวิชาการนานาชาติและการแสดงสินค้าในรูปแบบเสมือนจริงผ่านระบบออนไลน์ที่เรียกว่า Virtual Conference and Expo และแสดงศักยภาพของประเทศไทยในการเป็นผู้นำด้านมาตรฐานฮาลาลของไทยในสากลด้วยหลักการศาสนาวิทยาศาสตร์เทคโนโลยีและนวัตกรรมสาระสำคัญของการจัดงานในครั้งนี้คือการยกระดับมาตรฐานฮาลาลของประเทศไทยให้ได้รับการยอมรับและเชื่อมั่นเพิ่มขึ้นอย่างต่อเนื่องเพื่อฮาลาลเอื้อและเป็นที่ประโยชน์ต่อเศรษฐกิจเชิงนิเวศโดยประสงค์จะแสดงถึงสิ่งแวดล้อมฮาลาลที่มีความสมดุลทั้งด้านเศรษฐกิจสังคมสิ่งแวดล้อมจิตวิญญาณและสุขภาพในการเข้ากับฐานวิถีชีวิตใหม่ในการแสดงการเปลี่ยน โครงสร้างเศรษฐกิจโลกเพื่อให้รอดพ้นจากโรคโควิด -19 อันหนึ่งในการจัดงานครั้งนี้มีนักวิชาการและผู้ทรงคุณวุฒิทั้งไทยและต่างประเทศที่มีประสบการณ์มาร่วมแสดงความคิดเห็นและเสนอแนะความคิดเห็นด้วยมุมมองเชิงนวัตกรรมในการพัฒนาผลิตภัณฑ์ฮาลาลย่อมเป็นที่ผลให้ผู้เข้าร่วมการสัมมนาทางวิชาการในครั้งนี้ได้รับความรู้และประสบการณ์อันทรงคุณค่าอันจะก่อให้เกิดประโยชน์ต่อประเทศชาติโดยส่วนรวมต่อไปกับผมขออำนวยพรในการจัดงาน Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 ในวันนี้ประสบความสำเร็จตามที่ได้มุ่งหวังไว้ทุกประการกับผมมีความเชื่อมั่นเสมอว่างาน Thailand Halal Assembly จะมีการพัฒนาอย่างต่อเนื่องต่อไปกับผมขอให้ผู้มีเกียรติที่มาร่วมงานนี้เป็นกำลังใจให้คณะกรรมการจัดงานเพื่อยกระดับมาตรฐานฮาลาลของประเทศไทยให้เป็นระดับต้นๆของนานาชาติต่อไปขอขอบคุณครับอัสสลามุอะลัยกุมวะเราะห์มะตุลลอฮิวะบะเราะกาตุฮ์
Thank you very much for the continued support of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand. And I'd like to invite the following distinguished guests to proceed to the stage to jointly join the opening ceremony of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. I'd like to invite the Secretary General of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, Police Major General Surin Palale, as well as the Secretary General of the Standard and Metrology Institute for the Islamic Countries, His Excellency Ihsan Obud, Sheikh al-Islam of Thailand, His Excellency Asif Pitak Kumpon, Director of the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand, Associate Professor Dr. Pragon Priyakon, and the Founding Director of the Halal Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, and Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Associate Professor Dr. Vinay Dalan. Now that we have the mentioned participants on the stage, we will jointly start the countdown together to officially begin Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that's the beginning of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020, the virtual international conference, which will share with you the information, research, studies, and international halal matters. These 2 days assembly will highlight the idea of the halal sphere economic equity concept of halal. As we hope Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 will be an effective discussion platform, we pray for this result from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the most respected Chekun of Islam of Thailand, His Excellency Asif Pitak Kumpon, has given us the privilege to give us the dua.
Wassalam ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yaumiddin. Allahumma inna nas'aluka bi asma'ika al-husna wa bi sifatika al-ula tayammunan wa tafarrukan an tu'tiyana khairai dunya wal akhirah. Allahumma ij'al hadha at-tajammun halan fi khairin wa tawfiq wa najahin wa nafi'in lil muslimin wa ghairihim min Thailandiyin hukumatan wa sya'ban. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Deep appreciation to His Excellency Sheikh al-Islam of Thailand, His Excellency Asif Pitak Kumpon. Up next, to mark the opening ceremony of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020, we are deeply honored to have the advisor of the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives to deliver keynote address on Tansri Dr. Surin Pitsawan Memorial Lecture under the topic of Thailand's Halal Strategies for Uplift and Economic Equity of Agriculture and Halal Products. Here is Kun Alongkorn Phulabut. Mr. Alongkorn Phulabut is not a Muslim, but he has been supporting many roles in the halal standards and halal promotion. So there's a lot of issues that the Ministry of the Agriculture and Cooperatives have on their agenda, on their policy to support the industry of halal matters.
His Excellency Ihsan Ovud, Secretary General, the Standards and Meteorology Institute for the Islamic country, CIMIC, Turkey. His Excellency Aziz Pitakumpon, Sheikhu of Thailand. Her Excellency Manaya Thaisep, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Thailand. His Excellency Police Major General Surin Palale, Secretary General at the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, CICAT. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Vinay Dharan, the founder director of the Haran Science Center, Chulalongkorn University, for inviting me to deliver keynote address in this special occasion, where many prominent speakers can share their knowledge and experiences about future prospects of halal food industry. The production of halal food from farm to table are very challenging in our new modern world, especially in the post-COVID-19 pandemic. The main objective of my keynote address under the topic Thailand Halal Strategy for Uplift and Economic Equity of Agriculture and Halal Products is to explore the trend of producing halal food products, prospects, and current challenges in Thailand and the world. As the chairman of Halal Food and Agriculture Product Standard Development and a Promotion Committee, I hope my keynote address would be very helpful for policymakers and producers of halal food industry. The term halal refers to what is permissible according to traditional Islamic law, although haram is usually associated with dietary law. It is actually not limited to only food and beverage. Nowadays, the halal industry has expanded to various other manufacturing sectors, such as pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, toiletry, and medical equipment, as well as in services sectors, such as logistics, financing, banking, and tourism. Nevertheless, halal food remains the market with the biggest share and the greatest potential. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, there are currently 2.2 billion Muslims worldwide, or approximately 28% of the world population. Additionally, as halal food products are perceived as having high quality and being produced under safe and ethically responsible conditions, they have gained increasing acceptance even among non-Muslim consumers. Thus, halal food has become one of the fastest growing market sectors, which is compound annual growth rate at 6.6% during the forecast period year of 2020 to 2025. Furthermore, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, which comprises of 57 Islamic countries, imported over $164 billion worth of food products in 2014. The number has reportedly grown 16% annually over the past 5 years, higher than the annual growth rate of the overall food market. Due to both its size and its growth rate, the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative, MOAC, recognized the potential of the halal food market and has been providing continuous support to the stakeholders in the halal food sector. For instance, working together with the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, the ministry established halal food standard since 2007, which aim to promote standardization of the whole halal food production chain. Moreover, for nearly 10 years, the ministry has been consistently providing a financial support to the Central Islamic Council of Thailand each year. In order to strengthen the Haran certification system in Thailand, and also to ensure that the private sector are up to the international standard, the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative has also successfully gained new market access to a very important market for halal food, notably the United Arab Emirates. By working together with the Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the SICOT, UAE has recognized and registered SICOT, which consequently allow us to export Haran certified food to the UAE. Furthermore, in order to provide more support to the Haran food sector, the ministry has recently been considering a possibility to cooperate with the UAE to initiate the joint halal certification process. And with all the ministerial support up to now, as well as a result of the high quality of agricultural material, the capabilities of Thai entrepreneurs, the trustworthiness and reliability of the religious institute, and the support from the government, Thailand has become the 12th largest exporter of halal food products in the world, with export revenue approximately 9 billion baht, which means food export are rice, corn, tapioca, flour, sugar, crackers, chicken, fish, shrimp, canned tuna, vegetable juice, fruit, processed fruit products, and seasonings. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, according to the PEW Research Center's Forum on Religious and Public Life, which has forecasted that within the next 5 years, the demand for halal food will be rising at a steady rate, estimate around 3 to 4 trillion US dollar, compared with the present value that worth 2 trillion US dollar. At the same time, the country that has Muslim citizens more than 1 million people will increase to 79 countries in 2030. Such prediction would imply that the proportion of global Muslim citizens will significantly increase. While global trade at last indicate that the main halal food exporters of the world are non-Muslim countries, but later major food exporters such as the Brazil, India, Russia, United States, and Argentina, while Thailand is ranked at 12th place with lucrative combined market share in Middle East and Southeast Asia worth over 80% of total food internationally. Meanwhile, top largest halal spender are Indonesia, Turkey, Pakistan, Egypt, Bangladesh, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Russia, and India. Based on the information from Department of Trade Negotiation, Thailand is currently ranked number 1 at halal food export in ASEAN and number 3rd in Asia, second from Republic of China and India. In 2019, the total shipment of Thailand halal food export to the world was valued at 29 billion US dollar, with largest customer, namely People's Republic of China, USA, and Japan, respectively. While total export value of Haran food heading to 57 OIC member countries was recorded at 5,000 million US dollar, approximately 163 billion baht, or account for 16% of total export commodity list. It is very interesting to notice that major exporting Haran food countries ranked top 5 are non-Muslim dominated country, same as Thailand, which rank at 12 in global market share of Haran food, suggesting that global halal food market is open widely for several sources of Haran food producing country. Not only Muslim race, but also non-Muslim consumer as well. Halal food is gradually gaining recognition from non-Muslim consumer. Since the past era, it was considered as niche market food, but recently it has now become social mainstream food because halal food's quality has become nutritious, hygienic, and safe to consumer because of production process that strictly adhere to code of Muslim ethics. Therefore, Haran food market could be considered as newly emerging market with fast-moving trend attracting several food exporting countries that try to capture huge market share. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, Kasikorn Research Center and research arm of Kasikorn Bank, one of the biggest banks in Thailand, has conducted halal market research and had come up with the research outcome as follows. First, halal food is considered as functional food, not highly nutritional food, but dietary supplement food, helping to fulfill nutritional intake. For instance, chicken soup, bird nest meat with herbal ingredients, brown rice, and whole grain that rich in nutrients and vitamins, as well as beverage with high fiber supplement. Second, halal food using natural acquired ingredients or organic farming without using chemical fertilizer and genetically growth, including hormone, despite relatively high price than general food product, but very popular among middle and high income earners. Third, halal food for new generation, highlighting delicacy taste, featuring new decor for healthy diet and ready to cook, can order via online delivery and suit with hectic lifestyle. Fourth, halal food for elderly consumer, as many countries are fast approaching old aging society. Halal food must adapt itself as well as in order to satisfy this consumer segment, which seems to increase proportionally because it is nutritionally vital for elderly diet, such as food that rich in fiber like vegetable, fruit, or whole grain. Another kind of halal food is parting blood sugar. If made of meat, it should be easy to digest, such as fish meat, tender boiled chicken, easy to cook, not too troublesome to prepare, or packaging design should be easy to hold and tear when open. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, there is a golden opportunity for Thailand to be part of halal market in ASEAN, since Thailand is the major player in distribution raw ingredients for making halal food, since there is geographical advantage for Thailand in terms of logically, since Thailand is situated very near to Malaysia and ASEAN member country. In addition, Thailand also enjoys zero tax exemption due to FTA agreement, allowing massive shipment of goods from Thailand to enter into Malaysia and potentially expand to other ASEAN member countries, which has a huge Muslim population. Furthermore, Thailand can also cooperate Malaysia and Singapore as a transshipment route to re-export of halal food processing, attracting more Malaysian investors to Thailand because of lower cost of production, labor, and raw material compared to Malaysia. If these initiatives become successful, there will be job and income generation for people living in southernmost region. A growing pool of expertise combined with the talented Thai workforce provide a tremendous advantage to international companies. Thailand wants to improve its branding to accelerate its halal export to non-Muslim major countries as it reaches to Islamic market country to grow steadily. After the government has been able to contain COVID-19 pandemic, Thailand, as the largest producer of agricultural products in the world, has decided to launch 3S initiatives, in which emphasize will focus on safety, security, and sustainability by means of using data-driven and rapid development in big data collection and optics, and cloud computing. Applied to food safety after the government has been able to contain COVID-19 pandemic. Thailand, as the largest producer of agricultural products in the world, has decided to launch 3S initiatives, in which emphasize will focus on safety, security, and sustainability by means of using data-driven and rapid development in big data collection and analysis, such as Internet of Things and cloud computing, applied to food safety, early warning system, and quality assurance, quality control, product standardization, enhancing food security, producing sufficient food to feed global consumers with balanced and sustainable food production process. The Thai government has geared up in encouraging Thai entrepreneurs to produce food that meet international Haran standards to cater to demand of growing Halal food market. Dr. Chalamchai Sion, Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, could foresee both potential and opportunity to promote Halal food industry against the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic. And he also stressed the government policy to promote Thailand as the world leading Haran product manufacturer by raising confidence in product quality, targeting Muslim-dominated countries and non-Muslim dominated countries, which account for 2.2 billion people. Since Halal products and services are not exclusively for Muslims, the business can cover all groups of people and penetrate consumers in all parts of the world. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, in 2020, global Halal food and beverage is estimated to be around $1.5 trillion and expect to increase to $2.2 trillion. While in 2026, average growth rate will reach 20% with annual growth worth over $560 billion. Dr. Chalamchai is determined to promote One Vision 5 policy initiative, propelling Thailand toward the front runner of Halal food produce in compliance with the Halal food and product standardization, as Thailand is one of the leading Halal food producers with strength in the abundant agricultural raw material for Haran production. Thailand is also internationally accepted for food safety guarantee by Codex standard and is renowned for scientific research to support the Haran certification. The Thai Haran standards are consistent and acceptable to World Haran standard. Setting the Haran vision and policy amid COVID-19 pandemic is an important step for Thailand. To achieve such target is in order to showcase Thai-made Haran food to the world. Creating vision and policy to promote Haran food produce and Haran products. Haran is in line with National Development Plan to navigate the nation to become security, prosperity, and sustainability. Consists of 3 plans. First, National Strategic Plan of the year 2018 to 2037. Second, Master Plan under the National Agriculture Strategy. And third, Agriculture Development Plan during the 12th National Economic and Social Development Plan. Creating vision and policy to promote Haran food produce and Halal products. Haran is in line with National Development Plan to navigate the nation to become security, prosperity, and sustainability. Consists of 3 plans. First, national strategic plan. Second, master plan under the National Agriculture Strategy. Third, Agricultural Development Plan during the 12th National Economic and Social Development Plan. This has set a vision for Thailand to be a leading country in the development, production, and export of agricultural products and food products that have gained international acceptance to the world market with Thai Haran standard by adhering to religious, scientific, technology, and innovation in 2027, with 5 policies to promote trade in agricultural products and food with the Haran standard as follows. Number 1, policy to boost capacity of Haran certification agency. Number 2, policy to enhance competitive advantage for agricultural and agricultural food. Number 3, policy to enhance knowledge in production and management from farm to end consumer. Number 4, policy to enhance market and logistic potential. And number 5, policy to regularly raising the confidence of consumers both domestic and abroad in terms of quality assurance and food safety standard. To achieve the 5 mentioned plan, we need to establish Haran Food Distribution Center or Haran Hub, Haran Academy, Thailand Haran Big Data, promoting Haran Raw Material Database, System Protocol for Haran Electronics Resources Exchange or SPHERE. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to further elaborate on 5 policy plans as follows. Number 1, policy to boost capacity of Haran certification agency. Stressing on increasing capacity building for Haran certification agency is according with Muslim religious principles, scientific-based evidence throughout Haran certification process, including trade negotiation, especially on the issue of market access to facilitate and support entrepreneurs, farmer institutions, and SME startups in terms of production, trade, and setting Haran standards. Number 2, policy to enhance competitive advantage for agriculture and food products in according with Haran religious principles, standard, scientific-based evidence, technology, and innovations. Aiming to support farmer institutions, entrepreneurs, and SME startups by encouraging them to utilize abundance of huge agricultural farmland with favorable climate to produce halal food taking into consideration and strict guidelines of religion principles. Scientific-based evidence, technology, and innovation for production, cost reduction, increased output, boost production effectiveness, and eventually create a value added to agricultural products and halal food standards. Number 3, policy to enhance knowledge in production and management from farm to end consumer, aiming to develop and educate farmer institution, entrepreneur, and SME startup about Haran food standard requirement, good administrative management, proper production process that is in line with Muslim religious principles, providing practical knowledge and skill that could apply in real situations so that they can enjoy job security. Number 4, policy to enhance market and logistic potential, emphasizing on expanding of Thai produce Haran food and Thai Haran food standard requirements, both local and international market targeting Muslim and non-Muslim consumers by showcasing the issue of stringent Haran food safety standard and Thai Haran trademark, promoting Thailand's determination to become Haran food hub in ASEAN region, including setting up Haran food distribution hub to export Haran products, agricultural food products in Southeast Asia market as well as ASEAN community. Number 5, policy to raising the confidence of consumers both domestic and abroad in terms of quality assurance and food safety standards. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, under the new normal era, as the current lifestyle is shifting toward cleaner and healthier food due to COVID-19 pandemic, Halal food is becoming a new benchmark for all consumers, and being free from harmful ingredients is the basic principle of Haran food products, which is almost similar to the innovation of future food, plant-based protein food, where preparation and cooking method is quite identical with Haran food product. The development of Haran industry in Thailand is impressive and demonstrate a positive development toward realizing the country's aspiration to become a major country in offering Haran products to the world. Effective collaboration and network of the Center of Islamic Council of Thailand, the Haran Standard Institute of Thailand, and Haran Science Center, University of Chulalongkorn, will accelerate the Thailand government's desire to promote and transform the country as a Haran kitchen of the world. The Haran food products have turned out to be progressively popular among consumers globally, as the idea of Haran is related with good, healthy, safe, and high-quality assessment. In other words, the Halal food industry ought to have the capacity to ensure and certainly guarantee the halalness of the food sold. As the industry has grown for so long, so there are opportunities and advantages that can be further development, as well as issues and challenges that need to be handled comprehensively. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives would love to work hand in hand with all of you to uplift and ecologics, economics, equity of agriculture and halal products.
Deep appreciation to the advisor of the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative for the keynote address. Thank you very much to Kun Alongkorn Polabut. Ladies and gentlemen, Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 this year has been an historic year for the Assembly, as it's the first year that we would have to meet virtually. Apart from that, I'd like to ask you to stay tuned to the fan page of Thailand Halal Assembly, as about 10:45 we will be having interesting sessions which will be included in the 13th International Halal Science and Technology Conference. There will be many interesting sessions for you to view. And as for tomorrow, there will be a lot of interesting topics under the International Halal Science and Technology Conference, so please stay tuned. As for this year, the Thailand Halal Assembly 2020 is under the focus or under the topic of Halal Sphere and Ecologic Economic Equity Concept of Halal. And that wraps up the opening ceremony of Thailand Halal Assembly 2020. Before I leave you, I'd like to give you warm wishes. Stay safe and healthy, and hopefully we will get to see you again next year in Thailand Halal Assembly 2021. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Wichaya Pitsuwan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.